everyone.
We're back.
We are back, yes.
With another movie.
Yep. John Wick Chapter 4. Supposedly the final one, unless Lionsgate decides to make another one for whatever stupid reason.
No.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, they clicked on the video knowing it's a spoiler video.
Well,
And they also saw the card right before this that said, spoiler alert with the freaking, Imperial alarm or whatever.
Imperial.
maybe they watched they heard about like the news that said that they filmed John Wick 4 and 5 at the exact same time.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, they were filming at the exact same time. That's what
Well,
the production news was.
They were going to make a fifth one and film it back to back, but then they decided not to.
Well, I remember reading that they were filming it at the same time.
Oh. I really hope that they don't do a fifth one. I'm going to get that out of the way now. I was going to ask you guys what you think. I actually prefer that this be...
Well, they got their 2 spin-offs right now, and so if those do well, then this will be the last one. But if those do like crap, John Wick's coming back. They left it pretty open.
I hope so. I hope he's dead. I really do. That's a major spoiler alert out of the way, but...
Hoping death for people.
We let the cat out of the bag.
Well,
there it is.
When I walked out of the movie, I was like, that's a pretty good, bookend, nice ending for John Wick, and leave the character alone. You know what I mean? If you look at the 4 movies as a whole, but specifically this 4th one, this was like, alright, this is it. Finally got out. And then he died.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the story. Right now, the logical way to end it is just leave it alone. They're going to pull some hanky-panky weird crap if they're going to do a 5th one.
They don't even need to pull some hanky-panky weird crap. Just say that they faked his death.
I mean, they could easily just do that. It would just kind of thematically undo what they were doing with the ending of this movie, which, yes, if you haven't caught on to it by now, John Wick dies at the end, supposedly.
Do we see a dead body in a grave? No.
No, he just falls
slumped over like the end of John Wick 3.
John Wick 3 at least had the excuse of him falling off a 3-story building, but he did that twice in this movie, and he was fine after both.
Well, down 2 flights of stairs twice.
Are you mad, John? Yeah.
Well, the German guy that threw him off the balcony in the club, and he hit that one pole that was sticking out, broke his neck on the pole, and then fell down another flight and hit the ground, and he's just like, ugh. Okay, I'm fine. Let's go fight again. And he goes and he's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, we do have to talk about this. Or unless we have more to say about
go ahead. Go ahead.
We can circle back to that later, but for better or worse, depending on how you look at it, the John Wick series, started out as a pretty simple, revenge thriller, about a guy who was pissed off that he tried to get out of his assassin life. He got pulled right back in because of, extenuating circumstances. And now it's just evolved into superheroes, but also it's basically just live-action Looney Tunes. In a way. Just full of blood and carnage and...
It'd probably be more like Tom and Jerry, really.
People surviving the craziest, or at least the main characters anyway. Surviving just the craziest stuff.
There's a fantastically high body count in this film. And that's fine. That's what we're here to see. That's part of the movie. That's part of the fun. But if you have any idea of realism, you can just prepare to throw that away completely. John doesn't even bother going for cover 90% of the time in this film. He's got his bulletproof suit on. So he just tanks the bullets, holds his jacket out like a shield, tanks the bullets, and then keeps shooting more people. But they've got bulletproof suits on too, so he has to be really clever about it, I guess. So
I think that's what makes the cartoonishness of it all work, though, is because they're so committed to it.
They are really committed to the bit of everybody having advanced body armor, or whatever they call it in the movie.
Tactical suits?
Tactical armor suits, or whatever they call it. They are into the bit. When they come to the Japanese Continental, and they're fighting in that room with the training room. In 3, we thought it was a joke when he was just shooting people to hit them back, like he was punching with his bullets, In this one, they lean into it, and he's, shooting people from across the room so they'll stay down. Or he's fighting one guy, and then he'll shoot the guy on the floor so the guy on the floor will stay down. It's stuff like that. It's what the... What's happening?
Are you talking about the part with the guys that had the really crazy body armor?
Yeah.
Right.
In Japan.
Yeah.
And
that oddly enough couldn't stop a bow and arrow.
Or any melee weapons. You can like poke someone with a knife and it goes right through this advanced suit and will stop a bullet immediately from point blank range. But if you poke him with a knife, like that one guy, he just kept getting stabbed. Like John Wick was climbing him by stabbing him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And like the guy he was wearing the same suit. He'd taken a bullet earlier, was just fine, but if you get those daggers in him, you can just climb him like a rock.
And the whole time he's just like,
Like, it is a cartoon. You go in because it's hilarious, it's fun to watch. The choreography for a lot of scenes is great. But it absolutely is a cartoon. It's a superhero movie.
The part where he was fighting, I will say, like I was telling you guys before, I think one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is that part in the Japanese Continental where he's fighting with the nunchucks and the pistol. That whole spot. Did you guys feel like they shot that in one? They tried to do like the one take filming technique when they were doing that one?
It felt like they were trying to do one take things for a couple different scenes, like Dragon's Breath, the shotgun, Hotline Miami scene, obviously.
But that part was my favorite part of the whole movie. I've been trying to find a clip of that on YouTube, and it's not on YouTube yet. I've done some serious digging. It hasn't popped up yet. But the choreography for that nunchuck scene was fantastic. I don't know who's choreographing these. I didn't do that research, but one, I hope it's the same guy for all the movies or girl or whoever. And two, they need to get a lot of money or they should have been duly paid for their services to humanity with their choreography.
Well, considering that the director, Chad Stahelski, is formerly Keanu Reeves' personal stunt guy, I'm pretty sure he has, enough respect for the stunt crew and the coordinators to make sure they're well compensated.
He did buy them Rolex watches.
I did see that. He bought them customized John Wick watches. That was cool.
Exactly.
Good guy, Keanu.
To Keanu's credit, he brought the physicality to this role despite almost being 60 years old. He already wasn't the best, theatrical sort of actor in the first place. I think age is kind of affecting his line of delivery a little bit.
I think they really just embraced his lack of acting chops in the very first time that he said anything in Japan. When they go and ask him if he's ready to go and fight the agents that have come to kill him, and he says, he waits for 5 seconds. Yeah. And that's it. That's the only line he gets in that scene.
I love Keanu.
It's absolutely terrible, but it's so fitting for these movies that it's just we're not here to see dramatic acting. We're here to see people shoot people. And Keanu brings that in spades.
He did look pretty good, though I will say he is not... If you watch the first movie compared to this one, I mean, these movies are taking their toll on him. He's not moving the way that he used to move. And he wasn't even moving, athletically quickly before, but he's definitely...
3-story buildings can you fall off of in no justice? He's at 5 so far in this series.
I will say this. Somebody falling off either stunt guy or it's CGI John Wick, but there's no way you can fall like that.
Here, Keanu, we need to throw you off a building for the next scene.
Also,
are you fine with that? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Are you willing to risk your entire career for this scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also need you to tumble down 50 flights of steps
twice
for a 30-second tracking shot. Is that cool with you? Yeah.
Dude, when I fell down the first time, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And I remember sitting next to you, you're like, seriously?
At first I thought, they're just going to have him roll a couple steps down, because clearly he only has 30 seconds left to get to the top of the screen.
Right.
But no, it was Dragon Ball Z time. They were going straight up. 5 minutes lasted for a half hour of them fighting up these stupid stairs near the Cathedral of the Sacred Heart.
You gotta admit, again, just the commitment to the bit, though.
It is commitment to the John Wick brand of we're gonna go so over the top that nobody will be able to out over the top us. You know what I mean?
I think beyond that, though, it does well to kind of like establish the stakes. It's not like just somebody shouting to the top of the world, like, oh, we're going to kill John Wick or whatever. It's like, no, it's all the stakes are established in the constant ticking of the time. It's also established by, how the lighting has changed in the scene. He has to get somewhere by, I think it's 6 a.m. He has to get to the church
by sunrise.
By sunrise, yeah. And we know that he has that much time to do it. And so by establishment of all of that and then just everything that happens in the scene, you're constantly thinking in your head, like, oh, he's not going to make it. No.
Which made me equally invested, albeit that I was like, seriously, he's going to fall down 70 stairs down to the bottom level, climb all the way back up, get knocked all the way back down, then climb all the way back up. It was like, gosh dang it.
I was having a blast, though. It was so
I had
good.
a complete blast with this movie. I was entertained from start to finish.
So good.
So what were your thoughts on the newcomer characters? Like Donnie Yen and the guy with the dog who goes by Nameless or whatever is
Nobody, yeah.
I mean, they all served their purpose. I mean, I don't think all of them were great to the same degrees, and we'll certainly talk about that, but I mean, I don't think any of them were bad characters. I don't think any of them were, like, particularly amazing, I suppose, but they all contribute well to the story, and the actors also do a great job in their roles, too, both physically and in terms of line delivery, too.
I liked, Donnie Yen's a win for me.
Yes.
I liked it. I thought he was good. But I thought the daughter of the Japanese continental boss, I thought she was good. I also thought, who's the guy that dressed up, that did his best penguin impression?
Scott Adkins.
Yeah, I looked up a picture. He would definitely, they were like, ooh, look what they did to Colin Farrell. What if we did that, but made him...
but took him to 11.
His fight, too, was a little...
But I loved it.
I loved it.
Scott Adkins is a genuine martial artist. So
he can throw down. And up until about the last part of that fight, he was throwing Keanu Reeves around their little set that they were fighting on. He was getting thrown around like a sack of potatoes.
That was really one of my favorite, just like set pieces with the club and everyone dancing. I mean, nightclub scenes are a stand-in the John Wick series.
True.
Every movie's got to have one. But this one just felt so good with like the water coming down, and it had like the dramatic angles, and everyone in the club is just drugged out of their minds, and they're still having a great time while Keanu's killing people right and left. It was fantastic. I was enjoying that, and Scott Adkins, like, he was just doing such a good job hamming it up and having a great time and still beating the tar out of Keanu, like doing splits kicks that no man his size should be able to do. It was great.
I really liked the fact that I love the fact that they all get at a poker table together. And they're all trying to kill each other.
And they don't like care about the poker at all. Like, they know that poker is such an overdone trope with these kinds of movies. And so they're all just like Donnie Yen's like, I can't even see, whatever. Like, they're all just, they don't care. It's all just theatrics before the fight begins. And they know it, and the audience knows it, and that's what made it so good.
It was good. I loved that scene for a lot of reasons, but I love the fact when he's like, so you want to kill him, you want to kill him, I want to kill him. And who do you want to kill, Mr. Wick? I'm going to kill you. It's like, what? And then they throw the cards at each other, and it's awesome.
He cuts Scott Adkins' neck with a card.
Regular.
I tell you, man, I have such a fear of being, like, sliced open by things. I had such a visceral reaction seeing his neck being sliced open.
Games for you.
No. But I gotta say, they found a lot of... in previous John Wick movies, a lot of them were what you would call gun-fu, if you will. That's a legit term. But they found so many creative ways to to hack people apart and have these big action scenes happen.
It's true.
You mentioned the playing cards. There are those big hatchets he uses in that same scene, in the club scene. He has the nunchucks. There's katanas that are used.
CGI
CGI cars, yes, that people get bounced around on. Ugh, like they're in Batman Arkham Knight or something.
By the way,
See, they're just fine.
By the way, did you love the fact that for 4 movies now, John Wick has not had the peripheral vision to notice when a car is just going to run him down?
The sideline of
I
it
was hitting it down. Movie, I was like, when is he going to get hit by a car? That happens every movie. He has to get hit by a car.
Just
And
like
then, and then finally they get to Paris and everyone's getting hit by cars. John Wick gets hit by like 5 in a row. Dog gets hit by a car. Everyone's just getting slammed by cars, and they're all fine. Like they just get back up and start fighting again. But it's like, yes, I've been waiting for that this entire movie.
I could feel you like
the car hit.
You needed to get hit because I could hear your voice. When is he going to look to the side? Remember when we watched the second one? And you're like, seriously, he's not going to look at the side of his head for a car.
Right. And then Common hits him.
I know, with a car.
It has to happen. It's a part of this movie. It's a tradition.
Yep.
Oh, man.
They lived up to that tradition very well.
I will say, going back to casting, I did like the fact that Clancy Brown was in this movie.
Yes.
Was the adjudicator or whatever. Is the boss of the table that comes to make sure that they do the gunfight at sunrise at the place. As much as I wanted Pennywise's character, or actor,
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård, as much as I wanted him and Keanu to fight, which I didn't realize he's tall.
Oh, he's huge.
He's a tall man. I did not realize he was so tall until he was standing next to Keanu. I was like,
all of the Skarsgård boys.
Like, holy crap!
Growing big up in
really,
the north.
He was good. He played his character of being a snotty rich guy that wanted to clean up after or wanted to get onto the high table by killing John Wick. If I remember, that was his whole motivation of hunting down John Wick, was that he wanted to take the credit and get onto the high table or whatever.
Mm-hmm. He talked the talk, but he didn't walk the walk.
No, and then he goes down like a... That was the thing I was going to say. He talked the whole movie about being scary and doing all this stuff, and then he went down like a chump.
Like, the only intimidating thing that he did the entire movie was stab nobody's hand
with the knife.
With a knife after nobody was willing to work with him. Like, that was it. He didn't do anything else the entire film.
Besides bravely send people to do it for him.
Like, he would just call the radio station and be like, hey, raise the bounty to...
Yeah.
And
40 million.
Sending people. They weren't even his people. He was just like, well, maybe if we add some more money, someone will kill John Wick before he kills me. That's not a villain right there. That's a wimp.
I will say this. His line delivery and his character as a whole, him going down like a chump was the only way that he was going, because his arrogance of, I'm under the high table and I'm going to win no matter what because I have the table backing me. I thought him going down, it served his character, but I really wish that he'd been fleshed out a little.
Why does the table support him at all if he's such a loser?
Because the plot dictates. I don't know. But,
John Wick's sister could have killed the guy without even trying. I don't know why everyone was so afraid of him.
That's true. I don't know. I overall, though, I thought I liked him in the movie. I just wish... that was really my only complaint, is I wish that him and John Wick had thrown down for at least a fight scene. And then John Wick just, stabs him with a pencil or something. That would have been poetic. The whole series.
With a freaking pencil!
He already did that, though. He killed 2 guys with a pencil.
Yeah, that's right, in John Wick 2. Yeah.
He could have killed him with a paperclip. Though, to be fair...
We're just getting into Daredevil, the movie.
True.
Bullseye throwing that clip through a guy's forehead.
I don't even think I ever saw that movie.
You don't need to.
It's a classic.
I will say this. I do like the fact that I felt like the supporting characters were not just mindless people from the table. Each one of the characters that was coming after John had motivation to do so.
Yes.
Which I thought was a good thing, because in 2 and really 3, like in 3, the guy who's coming to kill John Wick, the Iron Chef guy, remember the sushi chef?
Mm-hmm.
He was only doing it because the table told him to.
Right.
I don't remember him having a solid reason why he was the one. Besides, I mean, table telling him aside, I don't remember him ever having like a solid reason, like, oh, this is why I need to.
All right.
Aside from the bounty.
What was nobody's motivation?
Well, he wanted to get. He was new. He wanted to, like, this was his first hunt or whatever. He wanted to make good on being.
But he was already established as a tracker. That's what John Wick said. Oh, he saw him right from the beginning. You're a tracker.
Well, he wanted to have the clout of, keeping all of these other guys from killing him, and then kill him specifically in the way that he wanted to.
That's what I thought. I could be wrong, but I liked that. Like Donnie Yen's character, he was like, if I go do this, then I'll be free to be with my daughter. And he didn't really want to kill him, but he had to because he wanted to protect his daughter,
But then we find out that, like, he was already free. He'd already done the killing and everything before that. So it's like, there is no freedom in these movies.
Right.
I think that's definitely a great through line that has kept this series thematically consistent from beginning to end. Just this idea about how, if you entrap yourself in this really sick and sinful. I mean, I'm taking obviously a religious interpretation there, but if you plunge yourself into an immoral place, like, the harder it's going to be for you to get out of it, the further you entrench yourself in it. And I think each movie has just kind of emphasized that more with just the greater effort that John has tried to make to lash out against the people that have constricted him, the more that those same people have tried to keep him in there. I think that's especially well emphasized with the fact that, you go into this movie expecting the whole film to be about him just going on this murderous rampage against the high table. But then they make a point in the movie to say, like, well, you kill one member, they'll just replace them. And they're like, yeah, that's probably true.
So just kill them all. Pretty much everyone's an assassin in the world anyway, so... It's more of a theme of Hollywood owns you, so they just keep offering money to keep bringing you back.
Well, good point. I was otherwise just going to say that, like, I just appreciate that the story makes it a point to have John Wick try to find an alternative way out. That, of course, leaves the world there, but he's seeking after his own personal redemption, really. And it kind of leaves it off the table for him to do all these other things that he really probably doesn't even want to do. He's just tired and wants rest, and these other people are forcing him to basically keep his position of killing everybody.
Yeah. I do appreciate the fact that the first one is the most, like, grounded in reality, which is saying a lot, because the first one's over the top. But, like, the second one and the third one I felt like was kind of getting to that point where it's like, okay, this is getting a little out of hand.
It's a little comic booky.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck? There's a high table with every assassin in New York. Because remember, at the end of the second one, the Winston's like, because I deemed it so, and he, like, hits a button on his phone, and everybody in the park stops. It's like, is everybody an assassin in this world? Like, what's happening?
Well, they're having gunfights in the middle of, like, crowded New York subway stations, and no one's even looking at them.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the second and the third one were so, like, way over the top. Like, the third one, you had him killing people with just hitting a horse. The horse killing them. Like, right. And then you had, like,
all the CGI ninja motorcycles with katanas going after them.
Right. And I mean,
the Arc de Triomphe. That whole part.
Which one?
One with the cars.
This one. Oh, yeah. Well, like, you had 2 and 3, which were kind of built on that, like, having action set pieces like that. And I'm glad that 4 came back to, hey, we're going to have our action sequence be in a Continental. We're going to have our action sequence be in an abandoned house. Like, the scale is not as wacky as the other 2 and 3 are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Germany. He's at killing people in a nightclub underneath like one of the main monuments in all of Berlin.
Right. Yeah.
And in France, in the middle of the city, Arc de Triomphe,
Right.
and then fighting all the way to the Sacred Heart Cathedral. It's like, for me, it feels like they're just embracing it more.
Yes.
They're not even trying to say, oh, this is grounded, this is realistic. They're saying, all right, how can we top this and make this crazy? It's like, how can we tell the audience that, no, you don't need to go watch something else. You need to watch this because he gets a shotgun that shoots fire. And he blows people away.
That scene was so awesome.
Amazing.
So good. It was awesome.
It's pretty much cut straight from Hotline Miami.
Of course. Top-down police shooters, the whole 9 yards. It was awesome, though.
It's like, loved it. Like, they're not even bothering with the whole, like, realism thing. Everyone's got armor-proof suits. They're all falling off buildings.
There's no cops anywhere.
There's no cops. They don't even pretend to have cops, like, anymore. People are driving around the Arc de Triomphe as there's these fighting scenes going on, and they're just still driving. Like, they're going straight past, and they don't even stop or slow down. Like, they hit a guy, and they just keep going.
They're probably all other assassins who are just like, no,
I'm not getting involved.
Like in the first one, you working again? Yeah.
All right, well,
I'll get to it.
Like,
go ahead, John.
Like, yeah, in the first one, they had this whole thing where you have to hire people to actually come and clean up the bodies that you kill. Like, it's a big deal. But there's no one cleaning up all this nonsense. So they're just embracing it. They're like, you think we're a superhero movie? Just you watch. We're going to blow you away.
I do appreciate the fact that the coolest detail to me, among other things in that Dragon's Breath scene, is when he shoots the guy next to the burner, and it lights the guy on fire, because he gets the natural gas on him, and he shoots him, he lights him on fire. He runs out of the building into the hallway, and then John Wick is obviously clearing the rooms and goes to another room. And the guy from the hallway does a lap, and then comes back in and gets shot again. I was like...
Something I did think was really fun about the marathon run through France, though, not just the Arc de Triomphe, but everything before that, too, when the guys just start going after him, and the bounty gets raised. About a week before we saw it, I went and saw a movie with a friend from work called The Warriors. Have you guys heard of it?
Mm-mm. The old one? From the
70s.
Yeah.
Can you dig it? But anyway, it's a movie about, New York gangs who are about to basically unite together to take over New York, but then this one guy gets killed, and then this one gang, the Warriors, gets it pinned on them. So the whole entire movie is basically this gang just trying to return back to Coney Island while all the other gangs are like, hey, gang up on this dude. The whole France sequence felt like an homage to the Warriors, not just because of the fact that, everyone's ganging up on them, but also there was a very direct visual homage to the movie, in the sense that in both films, you have it intercut to this black radio host who's basically narrating the radio show and being like,
speaking in English in France. That was another, come on. It's in France and speaking... I'm sorry. I shouldn't take over your point, sorry.
No, you're fine. I get it. But basically, in both films, this radio hostess is like, hey boys, it's a good night, happy hunting, and all that stuff. And you get repeated updates on what's going on. And I'm like, okay, I get this. These people, they're not just making a good film, but they actually appreciate cinema and its history. Also, I really appreciated the homage to Lawrence of Arabia in the very beginning with that sunrise shot. It's like, cinema, baby.
I was too busy laughing at that scene because John could hit the broadside of a barn.
No kidding. Those three guys are riding.
The three guys weren't shooting back at him, even though they're the high table elders' bodyguards.
And they were riding camels. He was riding a horse. He couldn't hit them. I was like, what the f*** is that?
The high table elder who is supposedly above the table and supposedly has all the authority and all the power. Bang, dead. First 5 minutes of the movie.
It was them killing off that plot point from the third movie.
They said, "Yeah, you guys didn't like the third movie as much. We're getting rid of it."
Yeah. They Rise of Skywalker. John Wick 3.
I don't know. I really like John Wick 3, even though it definitely wasn't like
The strongest of the movies.
And there were parts of it that I really liked. That fight between him and the two dudes from Raid.
oh yes,
Music.
That scene where he has to take like 4 different malfunctioning revolvers and like put them together and all these fucking people so you can get one good gun.
One good bullet. That was the one shot.
I forgot how good the knife scene though was.
Oh,
Like rewatching that with Amber and my in-laws, just like, man, all of that just in one frame, all of that happening at once, the choreography and the coordination for that, which of course has bled into John Wick 4 as well, so
It's
just
But
insane.
he had his bulletproof suit on. Why did the knives even like affect him? So
well, they were trying to throw it at his nuts at one point.
It's a bulletproof suit wearing over his nuts. His pants are bulletproof.
Clearly, it didn't stop some of the other guys from getting freaking messed up, especially by
Clearly,
nobody's
a
dog.
dog is superior to a gun. That's what John Wick has told me.
Well, I was talking about the German Shepherd that Mr. Nobody had. That he would just
The 8 people.
he would just say nuts, and it's history.
Why did you do that to the marquee at the beginning of the movie? That would have made everything so much easier.
That would have been hilarious. But he also probably would have died.
He wanted his money, even though he didn't get it in the end.
For undisclosed reasons, he's like, price just went up. Price just went up.
When the price was already $40 million in the last movie.
I know, and then it went down. You even talked.
I thought it was $14 million.
No, it was 40 back in the last movie.
It was
and then
funny.
It went all the way back down to 20.
Yeah, we were watching the movie, and he goes, "Wasn't it 40 in John Wick 3?"
Sworn it was only 14.
No, it was 3, or it was 40. By the time it's at the end, it was 40. We were both like, "What?"
I'll have to go back and watch that again.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's fine, but
I was like, wait, 20 million? Why does anyone care? It was 40 million.
just wait it out. Wait,
And then like, it gradually gets up to 40 million, and I'm like, yeah, that's what it was. Now we care. This is where
it was funny. Good times.
Yep.
I think
I think he's going to be doing a Fast and Furious next movie where he's just flying cars through the air to do headshots on people.
jeez.
That's
Really?
the future of the John Wick series.
You're gonna hurt my family, John. Yeah.
Oh, crossover. Yeah.
No.
Fast and Furious
not.
11 will be John Wick 5. He's the new villain. The family has to go after John Wick, and they just hit him with cars over and over and over.
Yeah, I'd pay to see that.
They're just pinballing Keanu Reeves between all of these different cars, and he's fine every time.
I can't stand those movies, man.
Well, you're watching John Wick. That is those movies.
No, Fast and Furious.
I know. It's the same movie.
No, but
The difference is that John Wick is made well.
And it doesn't have them flying a Toyota Corolla into outer space.
Not yet.
At least there's method to the madness in
Wait
John
till
Wick.
the spin-offs start doing crazier stuff than ever.
They did have Hobbs and Shaw running down a building at full speed, chasing Idris Elba.
If John Wick can take all of these hits and fall off multiple buildings without even slowing down, I can guarantee if he comes back for a 5th movie, they're going to ratchet it up even more.
Imagine Ethan Hunt going after John Wick.
Keanu Reeves is going to be skydiving and shooting people on the ground from 30,000 feet.
With steel slugs and a shotgun.
There's going to be a dog parachuting behind him. And nobody says nuts. And the dog just meteors out of the sky and hits someone right in the balls.
So Lionsgate isn't watching this video. Look, we're giving them bad ideas.
They do. John uses katanas to climb a mountain.
Like the Bionicle movie.
That decapitates the Statue of Liberty that is a mecca for one of the new Assassin's Armies of the High Table. because there has to be someone above the high table.
Oh my gosh. Dude, speaking of which, where's the chick from the third movie? Did she die? The chick that was, every other word she said was high table, under the high table.
That lady.
You remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, I genuinely feel that a lot of number 4 was reactionary to the fan responses from number 3. They got rid of all of the side characters that fans did not like for number 3. Like, number 3 essentially did not happen. Like, it was erased in the first 4-5 minutes.
I didn't mind it, though. Like, my nitpicks of 3, I still, all 4 of these movies, I sat down and for however long I was watching the movie, they're all good 2 hours. For 2 hours, I was just sitting and having fun. Like, I had a complete blast with 4. From the time I sat in the chair, watching the whole movie to when I left, I was like, man, that was a fun 2.5 hours.
For what it's worth, regardless of the criticisms we've given to it, like,
I had so much fun.
I was fully satisfied with it.
It was a fun movie.
It was fun to go. It was fun seeing it with you guys. It was fun sitting in the movie just going, what?
He's going down the stairs again!
I don't know if it's like my favorite just blockbuster type movie that has come out since Fallout. Mission Impossible Fallout, I mean. No. But I think in terms of like just pure action spectacle, that is the best we've seen since then.
Yeah, because there hasn't really any like amazing action movie since then.
I mean, we had Top Gun Maverick, but that's like,
plane flying.
It's a different type of action, yeah.
That's a plane.
John Wick needs to jump out of an F-16 at
what have I done?
And punch someone in the air who is jumping out of his own F-16.
No, he's going to stab the other guy's F-16 with a katana and then yank him out of the plane.
They'll give him some fancy title from the high tables, like he's the Grand Shaman of the high table. And he's in an F-16 that's hovering in VTOL mode, and John Wick has to fly out of the air and just punch him right off of the plane. And they start wrestling and shooting each other at point-blank range, but they both got their invulnerable flight suits on, and they're falling from 30,000 feet.
Look, I already thought this movie was like a movie imitation of a video game for pretty much its entire duration. What you're talking about is basically just like if they made a straight-up John Wick video game.
They did make a straight-up John Wick. 2 of them.
Not the tactical RPG or whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh, did you guys play that?
No.
It was like 90% nut shots. Like shoot someone in the nuts.
Jeez.
Man.
I will say this. Since Fallout, I haven't seen an action movie that's really been entertaining from start to finish like Fallout was.
What about Uncharted? That was just an amazing action movie.
This guy.
No. Shut up.
I wanted that movie to be so good because I love the Uncharted games, but it was.
Don't worry, you'll get your action fix with Indiana Jones 5.
Oh, jeez.
And then the next Mission Impossible will come out the month later, and then we'll forget about it.
I don't think we'll ever forget about Indiana Jones 5.
Oh, no. I want that movie to be so good, and I'm so worried.
Just wait for John Wick 5, and all your fears will go away.
No. There can be... What was the Matrix, the new Matrix one? Matrix Resurrection.
No!
Matrix Resurrection.
Stop.
They didn't have a fancy word for this movie. They did Parabellum for number 3.
It's true.
They need a fancy word for number 5, and it'll be Matrix Antionum or something.
It'd be really funny if it would be like a Demolition Man, where they unfreeze Sylvester Stallone in the future. Just unfreeze John Wick.
By John Wick, yes.
That way,
it's basically what happened with Matrix 4.
That way, he can be wielding a lightsaber, and then he can fight in space.
It's just going to be Jason X all over again, with him just killing people with cybernetic powers.
If only they could have made a Knights of the Old Republic movie like when the game came out, because then they could have had Keanu Reeves as Revan.
I still think they might try and do that.
Well,
you're too old.
Revan needs to have acting ability. He says lots of words.
I mean,
they could have Adam Driver do it.
Oh.
I love Adam Driver, but
That's a solid no for me. I'm obviously saying that as a joke. They need to get Kit Harington. Kit Harington would be cool. Anyway, what we're trying to say is
John Wick 5.
this.
Go and see it.
Stop!
Stop making it happen. Joe's gonna start a campaign on Twitter. Make John Wick 5. And Keanu's gonna be like, no.
Release the extended cut of John Wick 4.
He's responsible for the Snyder Cut, ladies and gentlemen.
All the stuff that got filmed already. Release it.
He created all the bot accounts on Twitter.
Every single one of them.
Release the Snyder Cut.
Of John Wick
What's
4.
What's the one for Suicide Squad?
The Ayer Cut or whatever.
Release the Ayer Cut.
Release the George Lucas cut.
Oh, jeez. With more space aliens and anime.
You don't want the George
The
Lucas
John
cut.
Wick dance scene.
The George Lucas cut is what we have.
The bottom line we're trying to say is, in a roundabout way,
Indiana Jones 5 is going to suck.
no! Listen.
Indiana Jones gets replaced by someone going back in time.
Oh,
Please.
No, John Wick 4 was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
What we're trying to say is John Wick 4 was really entertaining, and we all had a fun time with it. Is it a perfect movie? No, but none of these movies are perfect. You go in to watch Keanu Reeves shoot a bunch of people and hit them with nunchucks and swords and stuff.
And that is what happens.
And it was awesome.
It lives up to expectations.
The people knew exactly what they made. Cliche to say this, but it is cinema.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
It's also full of amazing colors and lighting.
It is definitely one of the movies of this year.
Now you sound like more of a movie critic than him. How dare you accuse me of such love?
This is one movie. He's talking about cinema over here. Lighting and color. Next he's going to talk about camera angles and how that one Dutch angle in Japan was just so artistic.
I will say the set.
It was, though.
No, I will say this: the set design and areas where they were at, like the Japanese Continental, was pretty sweet. It was cool looking.
Gotta love Osaka.
France was pretty cool. I mean, it looked like France, but they had some pretty cool sets, and especially the last 5 minutes where they were on with the sunrise. Pretty nice cinematography. I
So
think.
is the Russian girl actually John Wick's sister?
Everyone's wondering about that. The lady that fries her arm on the frying pan.
Like, cause
Or the
they say sister, but I don't know if it's like a symbolic sister or a bloodline sister.
I always thought it was like a symbolic thing.
Because he's the Baba Yaga, which comes from Slavic and Russian folklore, and so is he actually a Russian in this universe? And
sure seemed like it. The ballet lady was Russian.
Jardoni.
And his whole relationship to the mobsters in the first movie was like he was a personal assassin for them.
It would make sense.
And they were Slavic.
You are a son of the Belarusian.
So, it's not what you did that angers me so. It's who you
You did it too.
So yeah, John Wick's sister is going to be the new John Wick 5.
No,
There's going to be the ballerina.
they're going to have
movie
Ana
next year.
de Armas be his long lost sister that he left at the ballerina
He's already
place.
got one long-lost sister. How many long-lost siblings does he need?
She's going to be Anna de Wick.
That's
what her name. That's what her name's going to be.
Jane Wick.
Oh,
Natalia Wick.
5.
Natalia Wick.
Natalia Romanoff Vick.
Oh.
stop.
Crossover with the Avengers. That's where she got sent to by the Snow Stone. She's gonna be the ballerina.
John Wick goes to the Red Room. Oh, man.
Dude, that movie sucked so bad. Oh.
He's going to be holding up his gun, and then he's going to shoot someone, and then he's going to pick up Mjolnir from Thor, and he's going to start beating people up with the hammer,
Then throw Cap's shield.
and then throw Cap Shield.
I'm sure that already happened in Fortnite.
Oh, man.
But as we know from Star Wars, Fortnite is canon to everything, so...
Yeah.
Yes. I think I'll just leave my final comments with this note. We were talking about the scene at Shock the Coeur with or whatever it's called, the
Sacred
church.
Heart.
Sacred Heart Church, yeah. With the sunrise. I don't know if you guys caught on to this, but the very beginning of the first John Wick, takes place at that New York graveyard, while it's raining. And then the final shot of John Wick 4 takes place at that same graveyard in the sunlight.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
thought you were talking about the really obvious green screen at CG.
This guy.
Instead of the Secret of the
That wasn't great.
He was
really obvious.
just trying to pull together a good. Oh man.
But, I just liked the subtle, lighting choices that they used in order to show that,
Now he's
the guy's actually free of his depression and is able to rest.
All you have
with
to do is
Helen.
get shot 3 times.
Yeah. And then
What's
collapse
funny
on the
though?
steps.
Why did none of that in a world of assassins?
Don't question.
No.
Turn your brain
Hear me
off.
out. Hear me out. In a world of assassins, you would think that they would pick up on Donnie Yen and John Wick shooting at each other in non-lethal spots.
Donnie Yen's blind.
Well, exactly. How did he know where to shoot?
Because he's essentially the daredevil in this
Yeah.
movie.
Mercy. That part with him and the alarms and doorbells in the kitchen.
That was cool.
That was cool.
That was the most realistic thing he did. On Francis Paris steps, he wasn't even using anything.
Oh no, he was definitely.
He was headshotting people from across the moon. Without any issues at all.
No, but the part with the doorbells was pretty sweet.
I don't know why they even had him be blind. He was just able to do everything John did.
Everybody's got a gimmick. John's missing his ring finger. Donnie Yen's missing his eyes. It's worth seeing. It's cool. You should definitely watch it while it's in theaters. Definitely deserve to watch it while
Definitely a
it's in
theater movie.
Yep. But even after it comes on home media, go support it then too. But if you can see it in the theater, go see it there.
Definitely. If nothing else, for the nunchuck scene and the dragon's breath scene.
Well, we talked about this for more than I thought we would, but I think the movie definitely earned it, for all the things that it did. I appreciate you guys joining me for another conversation. Always great to have Justin and Jared with me. I'm sure we'll have more discussions in the future.
Anytime.
If you liked what you saw here, or I guess not saw, but listened to, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Join that notification squadron so they don't miss out on the future videos that I produce either with these guys or on my own. And I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
So long.